Hey, it's Austin James. Yes, I'm living with diabetes, but it doesn't have to define me. Thanks to the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor, I get real-time glucose readings throughout the day. The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor is small and easy to wear, giving me the freedom to focus on my life as a parent and a musician. Now this is progress. You can get a free sensor at freestylelibre.us.
Offer available for people who qualify. Visit myfreestyle.us to see all terms and conditions. Certain exclusions apply. Data on file. Abbott Diabetes Care. Per prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
Are you ready, kids? Get your parents' permission, check your mailbox, and grab your shopping cart. It's time for the Adventures in Collecting podcast.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Dave. Welcome to Adventures in Collecting, where we talk toy news, culture, and hauls,
Along with our journeys as collectors. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Adventures in Collecting.
Hi.
Dave, you are not in your bedroom.
No, I flew out to Tatooine for this one.
Did you
I went from the Chicago Bears war room to Tatooine.
Yeah. Well, you picked a very busy time to travel. Of course, it's Labor Day here in the U.S. and
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is Labor Day. I don't know how many cycles away from Labor Day you are out there on the outer rim.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's far. The longest flight I've ever taken.
Far away? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, see? In case all of the terrible puns have not given it away, or in fact the title of the episode or the thing that you clicked on YouTube, we are going to be talking all about Star Wars today. And
in fairness, if it's on autoplay on your favorite podcast app, you didn't see the title.
Which I hope it's on autoplay on your favorite podcast app. That would be amazing. But if you have been living under a rock on Tatooine, or maybe you've just been too busy farming moisture, you might have missed that.
Going to town for power converters.
Maybe you just
heard a lot of that here.
Maybe you just have a bad motivator, and you haven't made a decision yet. I
did find cans of water here, though.
Listen, this is going to happen for the next hour, so just buckle up. If you didn't notice, Hasbro has a new HasLab campaign out in a line that is near and dear to both of us, especially me. The vintage collection. So we've got a new HasLab to talk about, and who better to talk about the new HasLab than friend and returning guests. So today on Adventures in Collecting, we are welcoming back a friend of the show and someone whose work has had a massive impact on Star Wars collectors everywhere. He's the senior director of fan product design at Hasbro and a lifelong Star Wars fan, and one of the key creative minds behind the vintage collection. And now he's here to talk all about the latest HasLab project, the Republic Gunship. Please welcome back to the show. He's our friend. He's your friend. He has traveled long and far to join us. Steve Evans, welcome back to Adventures in Collecting.
I actually just came down from my lounge to my basement, so it wasn't that far. Dave, I love Dave. Dave, your humor's as dry as a sand dunes, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. Hello. How you boys doing? It's been a while.
I'm good.
Yeah, it has been a while. So yeah, we're good.
Chubsies, weren't we? That was
that's right.
It was, yeah.
That's right.
Actually, that wasn't that long ago, really. In the grand scheme of things, we saw each other not that long ago. But it's good to see you again, and I'm glad you got pictures now. Last time we spoke, I think it was just podcasts. You've grabbed Dave out of the shadows and brought him out into the big wide world of televisual extravaganza. I love it.
Yep. And he's doing great.
So does Dave.
Let me tell you, he's doing great.
I've gotten used to it quite well.
Yeah, you've adjusted. You've adjusted. It's the audio dynamic is one thing, but seeing how the highs and lows of the Weinbrecht brothers next to each other on your screen, it really.
Parents must have been. I don't know which. I don't know what to do. Why can't they be the same?
I would think to this day they're still that way, and I'm getting it paid back through my children. They're definitely the littlest one is definitely me. And I can like hear my mom saying all of the things that she said to me as I say them to her, and realize that karma.
Stop
yeah,
doing
well,
that.
it turns out like weirdo is a gene that's passable as well. So, and we're all proud of it.
Yeah, weird. I wear my weird proudly.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, it's nice to see you again, boys.
Yes, always a pleasure. And like I just said, we have a lot to talk about. A pretty big thing to talk about. And that's the Republic Gunship. So this isn't the first time the vintage collection has gone this big with a HasLab vehicle, but the Republic Gunship is really massive. Can you talk about what made this ship the right choice for HasLab now here in 2025?
Yeah, I think we can all agree that, you know, we've been seeing a lot of prequel energy build up. You know, whether it's at Celebration with Hayden coming on and just general. God, I'm gonna sound so old. Like, your generation, you youngsters. That sort of prequel generation that I started at Hasbro in '99, just when Episode 1 came out. I literally got the job because I thought I could get free Star Wars figures. Turns out I could. And it was just such a time. And it's weird to think that was 20 odd years ago, more than that. And I think we've had that resurgence that's come back. You know, the prequels are hot. Hayden Christensen is hailed like the new, not the new Messiah, that's a bit grand, but like the reception he gets, and we're seeing a lot of energy in both Black Series and Vintage on prequels, and the demand and the wants and the ask for sort of more prequel Jedis and clones, et cetera. And we're like, you know what, we should dig back in. We had Tatooine in 25 as our main story, so the OT crew got their fix. It's like, let's bring some prequel love back into it for 26, obviously launching in 25, like we do normally with HasLab. We launch and then we follow up with the theme now in 26. So we looked at the prequels and we looked at, all right, let's do a ship. We did a play set last time with the Cantina, which is winging its way to many people now, and it'll still keep coming. And we were like, what's prequel ships? So what's a prequel ship that's worthy of that sort of HasLab treatment, whether it's size or premium or just kind of impact and presence within your collection? And the Gunship was a pretty easy one to do. So we went, let's go and make a definitive Gunship. So we did. That's why we chose it.
Yeah. And arguably that moment, if you are to think about ships that can be completed within reason, right? Some of them are still pretty big. This does play a pivotal role in the Attack of the Clones film, and carries through as kind of a visual representation of the Clone Army throughout the Clone Wars. So I mean, it's definitely a piece of like the larger iconography from the prequel era. So I totally agree.
Yeah, absolutely. I also think of like the whole Order 66 part in Episode 3 as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It carries through. Whether it's Clone Wars, Mandalorian, it's seen in that. So I think it epitomizes that Clone Wars prequel area, which I think is the most popular aspect of it. Some people may disagree. Everyone's got their own bit that they like the best, but we're just like, yeah, let's do a real gunship.
Yeah, it's awesome. And speaking of the ship, it is huge, highly detailed, and has a ton of moving parts. So what were some of the biggest design challenges you and the team faced in bringing this ship to life at this scale, at this TVC scale?
Well, I think the good news is that Chris Reif is the lead design on the Gunship, and Emily leads design on the figures for our HasLab and for this one in particular. Chris has got a amazing history with Star Wars, probably 30-year history, not just with Hasbro, but working with various people and working directly with Lucasfilm. And he's been intrinsically involved in like a lot of the, cutaway books and things like that. So ships and him are like cookies and cream. They're just like perfect. So like, there's always a challenge, and we always like a challenge, but like he's the perfect guy for it. So I think, there's obviously a challenge in terms of size. How big should it be? We have a sort of a working rule within Kenner and Hasbro that, big ships reasonably hit like 75-80% of the actual scale, proportionate scale to 375. There are some things we can do that are smaller than 100%, but when you get bigger, it starts to disproportionately get really, really big. So it's like, all right, how big can we make it so that it is the right size for our figures? And also, knowing that there's the Gunship that was done in 2002, that mold, like that it's a definite upgrade and it is a definitive version. So I wouldn't say that was necessarily the challenge. That's probably the joy of it. I think the biggest challenge might be, we mentioned that it goes through different movies and different iterations. And there are things with the turrets, there are things with the lights. And so it's the choice of which one do we do. We've got swappable plates in there that can kind of swap out different insignia and things. So we try and give as much variety as we can within the deco scheme, because obviously there are blue ones and there are different color ones. So I think that was probably the biggest challenge. Which one do we do? And how can we make it customizable as much as we can without ever having the wrong parts on it? Does that make sense? So yeah. That was probably the biggest challenge. Like, which one do we do? And we kind of fell back to that first appearance, Attack of the Clones, and just that seems to be the control version, the most iconic version. It's when you first see it. It's when you first introduced. The Clone Wars began, and it was just like, all right, that's where we start. That's the one we do.
Yeah, and I mean, I see stuff like this, right? And as somebody who came into Star Wars toys in the 90s, with the relaunch of Power of the Force, and I had the opportunity to play with some of Dave's original Power of the Force figures, when I was little. But like, I can remember getting the Millennium Falcon for the first time, and as a kid, like, oh great, I can squeeze Han and Chewie in here if I try real hard, like especially those that version of Han and Chewie, right? You
had to learn leverage physics very early at a young age.
Also, they were jacked, so like they were sitting like arm in arm.
Yeah, it was the same mold as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, the 90s. So seeing images like this, revisiting that toy as an adult, and obviously going like, hey, wait, I saw that movie. You could fit more people in there. Seeing these images where you have the individual pods and like I was trying to find it in all these images that you guys took, by the way, are like super cool and really showing, scale. Like this one, for instance, like seeing that, like, oh, you can have somebody in the jump seat, you can have them hanging onto the rail, and like all of just like the different display options, and seeing that, you've got a scale, like you said, that looks right with the figures. Like they can fit in the doorways, they can sit, they look kind of comfortable in there.
And they can sit down, they can bend their legs and sit down instead of just going, or they can, if you want to, you can bend the legs and fit them in and get the hands up and get it all just chef's kiss. So,
and I think the pods actually show kind of with the figure in the pod shows really the scale of this at its best, kind of like judge of how big it is, right? Yeah. Like that's an actual 3 3/4 inch, 3 3/4 inch figure in this pod that is a small part of this large ship.
Yeah, and the pods aren't crazy out of proportion with the rest of the ship. So I think that's it's about balance and scale and just proportions. The proportions are quite different to this, like versus previous ones. So yeah, but the biggest challenge was, which one do we do? So this is the one we went for. Yes, there are loads of others we could have done, but we went for this one.
And to that point, right? I mean, this is, I know it's a big piece, and it has a price tag, but like this is an army, technically an army building piece. If you have the means and you have the the desire, you could buy several of these and you could make those different deco changes. You guys included different sticker sets and plates and things that you can do that with, right? And make,
I mean, we know that a lot of people go in for these. We know there are collectors that will get one. We know the collectors that might not get it. And we know the collectors that don't know about it. And we know the collectors will buy 7 and like put them all up and have a bigger space than I do to kind of do it. So it's like, how do we allow for anyone to kind of collect it the way they want to, which is the beautiful thing about Star Wars. There's a lot of Star Wars collectors out there, and they like it like to do things differently. So it's like, how do we find that sweet spot that allows people to do things the way they want to do it? We do our very, very best to do that for you.
And we started talking about it, but walk us through some of the like real like key features and details outside of that, just that 20%, larger footprint. What really sets this apart from not only, other gunships that have been produced, but just kind of in general as a new HasLab?
Yeah, I think, look, let's not, there has been previous gunships we did. That mold was done in 2002, so 23 years ago. Look, I love that toy. Like my son, he's 22 now. When he was, however old he was, oh my goodness me, like 5, we went and saw Clone Wars at the cinema, Snips, and all that little stinky. And he was mad into it. And we got him one of the gunships that we made at the time. And as a parent, I was like, this is huge. My goodness, it's massive. And as like a little 5-year-old, he was almost like in it. There's nothing better than a toy you can play with when you're in it, or ground level, you play on your tummy and you've got your figures and it's just all encompassing. So, that's a great toy. That was a great toy. And it's a toy, all right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Love it. It's super charming. I've still got Sam's. It's bad to hell, but it looks great. I think the different thing with this one is this is the definitive gunship. The scale is much larger. Volumetrically, it's like 25. I think it's 24%. So when you scale that up that way, and that way, it's quite considerably bigger. And I think people that have come and seen it at San Diego and at Fan Expo have gone, oh my goodness, I didn't realize how big it was. So I think scale is one thing, but it's not the only thing. It's actually not the most important thing in a way. I think proportions for me. So when we were designing this, and Chris was building, he says, I've got the model. We make one prototype model. There's one model in existence. There's one gunship, one definitive gunship in the world at the moment. And I say, you know what? What I'd really like to do, I want you to save it, build it all up, get it all painted. And I want you to kind of show me it next to the classic, the classic 2002 mold gunship, because I kind of want to get a look at it. And I'll know instantly how different it is. And I remember walking into the Star Wars War Room that we have, and I was like, oh my goodness, wow, first size. Then I was like, is that the right proportion? It looks really stubby. And my brain was like, it doesn't look right, is it? Because the actual toy itself is actually quite elongated. Like if you go back to that one that shows a scale for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll make you flip around like crazy here.
No, that's okay.
If you go back to that.
That's what these are here for.
Yeah. You'll see that you see the nose, it's quite stretched. The original toy is quite stretched out, whereas actually it's quite stubby. And I was like, is that right? And so we pulled up the CAD that we had from Lucasfilm and we overlaid it and it was like spot on. I was like, oh my goodness, it's actually very different. The proportions are completely different. So that's another thing. The proportions are correct. And in my mind, things need to be as correct as they can be for TVC. That's the whole point of that premium world building thing. Like we try and get everything correct. So it's proportion. It's clearly the detail, like the amount of line scribes and detail that we can get in there. We can get the netting and the racks inside and the chairs. So the ability of being bigger and it being TVC is that we can now put in all those details. Like those chairs, you sit in those chairs. Those pods, you sit in the pods and they're a decent size. You get all the detail and the scribes. And this is what you're seeing here is just the renderings, the early development renderings. I was with Chris today. We're taking the gunship tomorrow out to Red 5, our friends out in East Longmeadow. And we were updating the deco. Like he said, I need to take this. And he went off. And he went up to the model shop and added some extra deco that they'd found. So we're always developing it. So there's more and more detail going into it, more scribings and deco and details and things. So I think details, how many times did I say details? I'm going to say it again, details is kind of key. And then obviously you've got the swappable panels, you've got the turrets included, now it's bigger, you've got like little storage areas that you can take off stuff, you've got rotating missiles. So it's all the finicky bits, or greeblies as we call them, all the greeblies. Mark Boudreau used to call it greeblies.
There's that word. Love that word.
It's all about greeblies. And there are very specific greeblies for Imperial, for Republic, for Rebels. And I remember back in the day, Mark, God rest his soul, he had a little book of just greebly marks. So when he would do like, as Abby did the barge, he would go, I don't actually know much about Hut greeblies. I must go and research them. So there's a whole load of language put in it that Mark had great history on, and Chris has that great history on, and they kind of know the marks to make and where things go. And if there are bits that he doesn't know, he doesn't have reference on, he can make it up because he knows the language of Republic or Imperial. How that makes sense. So it's just a lot more intricacies with this gunship compared to the first toy. I don't know if that's a toy. I don't know what this is. It's a work of art, a centerpiece. I'll leave it to people to name it, whatever they want to name it.
Well, I mean, like the other 3 HasLab ships so far, I'm patiently waiting for my cantina. But I'm currently looking across camera at my Razor Crest, at my barge, and at the Ghost. And I mean, they are centerpiece. Each one of them could be a centerpiece to my display, to my collection. The barge is the centerpiece. But like each one could effectively be, right? Like, and that's one of the things that I think I'm so happy you guys are taking this thing out, the prototype out for people to see hands on.
Yeah. My wife isn't. She's going, are you going out again? Where are you going now?
That's okay. We're talking to you in the future, right? Because it's September 1st when this airs, but I'll also have probably seen you this weekend.
Oh, great. Fabulous. So it was lovely to have seen you.
Yeah. So I'm hoping to get out to Red 5 on Saturday. But yeah, that's one of the things that I always stress to people, and I've not the barge. The barge came into the house, stayed in the house, and has never left. And it will only leave if I move, if I die, or if my house is on fire, because it's the one thing I'm grabbing. But almost. But like when I got the barge, when I got the Ghost, I actually took them to some friends' houses because I was just like, you guys, like other like toy collectors that I'm friends with that don't necessarily dabble in vintage collection. They might be Black Series people, they might be Marvel Legends people. I'm like, you just have to see this thing. Like, look at this, like these, I mean this as a term of endearment, but these like stupid little details on the inside, like you can tell which one is Sabine's bunk because there's the way the curtains are on, and it's like these little tiny things that are you don't find in a toy, but you find in a collectible, in this kind of like made to order piece of art. Effectively,
they're conversation pieces the same way like when you go into somebody's house that's like an art collector or anything else, or like they have this really cool poster on the wall or something. These are also that.
You reminded me as you were telling that story, Eric, about how you take it to people's houses and people are kind of engaging with it. It's like with this ship in particular, and I think the Razor Crest had it as well. This is such an interesting shape that it's actually we're finding there's a lot of people who are interested in it who aren't TVC collectors, that are just like, I love that ship. What is that? And as just a display piece, forget, I put my figures in it. Like, they just like the shape of it. It's just a very Star Warsian. Is that even a word? I don't know. Is that a word? Star Warsian?
It is now.
It should
it's
be.
Just, they're very geometric. You got the triangle on the thing, and it's just, people are going, that's cool. What's that? So that I'm really encouraged. And I've never really thought about it like that. I've always thought, well, these are for TVC collectors and things. But like, there are people who like Star Wars or like ships that are going, that's pretty impressive. What is that? So that's encouraging. I need to think about that more.
Yeah,
it's like a sculpture. Ultimately, at the end of the day, and I mean, like, it's funny, right? Like this comes with a beautiful, one of those bases that like typical. But like my Ghost, shouts to Nostalgic Adam on Instagram. My Ghost is on a guitar stand.
Of course, yeah.
And it's amazing. Like, it fits in a spot that I didn't think in a million years I would be able to get it on and display it like fully without the the sides off. And like now the first thing that you see when you come up the stairs to my office is the Ghost proudly displayed. So,
it's pretty great.
I took my wing off, so I fit it. You know me, I like to keep everything up there. So like on this one as well, I said, no, the wing comes off and I can take the engine off, so I can actually slot it on top of my Detolf when we fund it and it arrives. And I'm like, yeah, let's do that, because I like to. It's really weird. My bones are too bad for me to get on the carpet and play with my ships, but I always like to be eye level with the figures. That's probably coming out really loud. I'm sorry. So like when it's up on the Detolf, I'm a lanky 6'3", so when I stand up and look at it, see my roll-up trap. I am with my figures.
Yeah.
And that's important to me. That's really important to be able to get on that, because that's the thing I loved the most as a kid. Getting down on my nan and granddad's shag pile carpet. That sheepskin carpet. That was Hoth, and everything was down. So anyway, sorry, I'm
waxing poetic. No, that's fine. That's what this is all about.
What we're here for. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we kind of alluded to it already, but the vintage collection has always been about accuracy at scale. So how did you balance making this both a playable piece and a playable vehicle, as well as that showpiece that we were just talking about for the collectors that just want to display?
So playability is very interesting. That's like, we talk about that quite a lot, and I talk about that with people at the cons, and we chat about it at work a lot. This idea of, what does play mean now for us? Mm-hmm. And sometimes we'll put little things, like in the barge, we got like little trapdoor still, and the little cell, still, we don't do missile firings anymore. Like, I certainly don't put Nerf firing things in it anymore for the TVC, but it's like, so we always put a pit on that, and we haven't got missile firing here, but the little things rotate, and there are little cubby holes you can put people in, like little medical bays and things. So there's always got to be a sense of fun or interest in there, because we all like to have a little play every once in a while. But I think the biggest part of playing now for us collectors is this displaying, is this, like, I want to put it, and I want my figures, and I want them spilling out, and I want them to put against some bad guys, and I want to get that sense of what I did when I was a kid, where I would be doing it, and I know we all kind of do it sometimes, but generally it's that capturing that essence, but in a displayable piece. So when your friends see it or you look at it, you remember those times. So I think playability is more about displayability, because I think that's how we play now. And play for me is reorganizing all of this and changing it around. So like, I got my ghost there, but I might move my ghost and I'll bring Gunship and put that there and play with it again by displaying it. So I think that's my deep ethos on play and display. But it's important. We got to have fun in our lives. Life's hard at the moment, and just getting any little bit of joy is really important. So never stop playing. I've said it a billion times and people get fed up, but it's like, I really, really, really do believe in that.
Well, that's the thing I like about the Razor Crest. Like, I think that's one of the coolest things, is the fact that there's that whole like almost like cubby bay of where you assume, like, Mando sleeps and hangs out and stores all the carbonite people and all the weapons that go in there, and it's just like seeing that actually exist on the Razor Crest, and that seeing that detail now move forward on every other HasLab and back from the barge is just like, that's the chef's kiss, like, play moment. I think is just you get to store all these weapons like you used to, like, or that you always hoped you could.
Yeah.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
This segment is brought to you by our friends at Chubsy Wubsy Toys. A traditional mom-and-pop toy store in Little Falls, New Jersey, Chubsy Wubsy Toys brings you the best new toys from the brands you love without the hassle of pounding the pavement searching for them at larger retail stores. Visit them in person at their brand new home at 101 Newark Pompton Turnpike, Suite 1 in Little Falls, New Jersey, or online at ChubsyWubsy.com. That's ChubsyWubzzy.com. And tell them Adventures in Collecting sent you.
And now, back to the show.
And for me, it's the photography part of it. So, like, I love toy photography. Like, for me, that has become my version of play, is like lighting these things and like getting the mood right and posing everybody, and the fact that, like, you can get all of these really, really natural poses from vintage collection figures, especially now with like the barbell hips as opposed to those like twist and pivot ones. It's just these figures and these pieces have come such a long way. And even in just the construction, right? Like Dave mentioned the Razor Crest, but like, even on this, like, I can see now, just looking at the renders, like all of the pieces that come off which will allow you to get light into places that like you so that way you can make it
flip that
look
ramp
like
down and light it, or you can leave some walls on this. They designed it brilliantly with holes and slits in, so you can shine and get shafts of light and all this kind of stuff. And like the 375 is, a lot of people. I don't actually. I collect mostly retro stuff. Like I don't actually collect 375. If I'm honest. I don't collect Black Series. I find it difficult to collect things that are going on and on because I find it intimidating. But some people love it. But like what I love about 375, the scale that makes it unique, and every scale has its own purpose, is that it's obviously world building, right? You can figures, creatures, ships and worlds and playsets and stuff like that. But we've coming to a point now where we're getting such a fidelity on what we can do at that scale with photoreal and the articulation and stuff, is that some toy photographers I'm seeing that use 375 are creating these incredible vistas that look like mind-blowing because you've got the ships and the play sets and they put them in environment. They can shrink down the scale and but still get all that detail. I find it just mind-blowing how that has changed since our innocent days back in the 70s of just going plop, 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 with a 5-point articulated figure. It's just like I'm in it. I do it, and it still blows my mind.
Well, I like to tell people that, as an adult collector, right? I have quite a display on my desk at my office at work, and like I consider it like my overflow. So like I bring a lot of like older things that I know I'm not going to need, for the camera and stuff, but things that still, have meaning and purpose to me. But I like when people see my desk, they're like, oh my God, this is, first of all, like overwhelming. Second, can I touch? And I'm like, yeah, please go play. But when people ask me like, why do you still collect? One of the reasons, like, among many, is action figures do now naturally what my imagination made them do when I was bashing them together when I was a kid, right? Like I'm just, I have Hammerhead just sitting next to me, and you're going to be on, and this is my most one of my most recent pickups.
Hammerhead, I do too. He'll always be Hammerhead.
Mamo Nadon, okay. But like the fact that he comes with the glass of blue milk and he can be raising a toast, like it's not like I'm taking a blue, a piece of rolled up masking tape that I colored half blue and stuck to his hand and like have to imagine that this is happening. Like he can hit this pose, and I see the potential with this piece. And like, you guys over at Hasbro, one of my favorite like toy community stories, Shooting the Galaxy, Matt going from being, awesome. He's still an amazing member of the community, but I remember looking at his photography thinking like, oh man, somebody should hire this guy. He's incredible. And to see him go from, just member of the community, amazing talent, to the guy that's actually putting together these dream shots and dioramas at Hasbro, like just
Matt, I love Matt. Like he's always smiling. He's like a little cheeky hamster. He's always smiling with his little chubby cheeks in his beard. I often mostly see Matt in the morning when we hit our coffee shop at work, and we always fist bump, which for an Englishman's really weird. But Matt is my fist bumper, and it's always like, hey Matt, hey, how you doing? I said, what are you up to? He goes, oh my God, I'm doing this, and this. It's just at like 7:30 in the morning. He's just like, yeah. So it's like, I know how it feels to get your dream job, and I love seeing other people that do that as well. And Matt is just such a lovely, lovely guy. He's one of those guys, like, I try and dislike him, but I just can't. Matt, I love you. You know that. But so it's cool.
So I can't wait to see when this funds, when, we're a
when, not if.
Yeah, we are a when podcast, not an if. When this funds, I can't wait to see the product photography that he does for the packaging, because I'm already like, I can already see.
We're already setting that up.
The other thing too.
Set that up.
The other thing too that I've found like outstanding, more so about vintage collection than anything else, and of course, we're talking about clone troopers here who are not necessarily known for their face sculpts, but
we'll get there.
Some of the best face sculpts, I think that I've been like, fall on the floor in the middle of like the store, have been the vintage collection. Like which to me is just more taking into account like detail, and like it's on this smaller thing. So the fact that a lot of these sculpts have been the way they are to contribute to even photography and things like that is just phenomenal at this scale.
I mean, look at that. Unreal.
Yeah. I mean,
it's so good.
We've come leaps and bounds in kind of paint deco apps and things like, especially the facial stuff. And like, it is strange sometimes. Sometimes you'll grab a 6-inch figure and go, oh my goodness. But sometimes you'll grab a 3 3/4 inch figure. Oh my goodness. And I can't explain it. There's clearly some kind of physics involved because of scale and eyesight and things. And, sometimes when you photograph too tightly to a small one, you get to see all the dot matrix, but when you look at your eye, you don't see it. It's kind of weird. Like a lens is very different from the eye, and everyone's got different eyes and everyone's got different perception of scale when you're holding it. So it's kind of weird. But when you get one that you just, I can't tell you the one that I just looked at. I was like, wow. Like the one that Emily, I'm like, wow. I mean, my gosh, how is this looking such fidelity? It's my other favorite word of the night. How do we get the fidelity in that? It's just, I think it's going to be like one of the top figures of the year when we eventually.
Personally,
unreal.
This one was the one for me where I was like, oh, cool. I have a 3 3/4 inch Rosario Dawson. Oh my God.
The Jude Law Skeleton Crew one for me was one where I was like, that is Jude Law's head. Like,
yeah, when we got to see that at the Hasbro breakfast at New York Comic Con last year, that was insane. That was insane. So, this project obviously, it's still we're still in the process of funding it, but how long has it been in the works? And like, take people through a little bit of the development cycle. Like, what does it take to bring one of these to
HasLab is a little well, I say it's a little different. No, it is. It's kind of different. It's usually, as we know, and I've been on many interviews, and they always say, how long does it take? And it's like, especially a complex thing like it's about 18 months from concept to delivery, or on shelf delivery in this case. For HasLabs, we obviously got to spend a lot of time up front choosing it, getting it approved and through concept, sculpt, deco, and then we just create the asset suite that you're seeing in front of you, and then it pauses. And usually when we're developing, it doesn't pause because we don't go to tooling. We don't make molds until it funds. That's the whole point. So we do a lot of upfront work, spend time, effort, and energy on that. Then we show the world and we go, you like it? If you like it, great, we'll do it. If you don't, then okay, we won't do it. So it's still, we started this probably like 8 months ago or so, just kind of like, what should we do? And then work with Lucasfilm. The interesting thing is that when we show it, like here, as I said, we're still developing it. It's still working progress. We're still finding things and moving things and like, well, let's put that there. Well, actually, that shouldn't go there. So 8 months so far. 45-day fund window. Once we get past our 8,000 minimal, we can then kind of release the hounds to do the tooling and then carry on. And then so it's usually a year after it funds, depending on the complexities of things.
So each Star Wars HasLab feels like it's raised the bar, and talked about it earlier a little bit. How do projects like the Gunship shape what you and the team are thinking about for the future of the line, like the story of the year, as it were?
Yeah, I think you answered that question there right at the end, Dave. It's sort of like, I was on Star Wars 10 years ago. Blimey, it was more than 10 years, 11 years ago now. And I was on it for like 4 or 5 years. And then I kind of went off and did some other bits and pieces. And I kind of came back, and story is really important. I was going to say to me, but then I should just put a period right there. Story is really important. It's important for this brand that we love. Like, it's one of the great stories ever told, I think. It is based on fundamental storytelling. It's classic Grecian storytelling, Japanese storytelling, Roman, whatever. It's just classic storytelling. The fact that we collect, I think, is all about stories. The stories of how we found things, how we missed something, how we couldn't find something, how we're hunting for something. I have a story literally for every single piece in there. I've got 600 stories there. So when I came back, I saw what they were doing with the Tatooine theme, and it was some great stuff. I was like, there's a story. That's Tatooine. Let's go back to Tatooine. That's great. Let's do some things we haven't done before. Let's update some things we have. And let's, for goodness sake, let's bring a checklist back, a poster that we can then put up on wall and tell a story to ourselves as we look at it. So story is really, really important. So when we said, okay, let's do something with prequel, let's tell another story. Now in 26, we're telling the prequel story in TVC. We've also got another story coming in 26, which I'm not going to tell you anything about, Mandalorian and Grogu, but like we're having a couple of stories. So choosing the right ship as part of the story, because Star Wars, the ships are characters. I'll make that clear. Like the Falcon is a character, literally a character. They are literally a character. I've never seen a story that has utilized vehicles without anthropomorphizing them. I said that. That's good. That was very well done. Like Star Wars, Wars. So to answer your question, this is teaching us how do we tell better stories? How do we tell evocative stories? How do we tell stories at scale? Because Star Wars is a massive tapestry. We're not at a point of time where we're going to do a TV story. There's thousands of figures, everything. We can't deliver everything for everyone all at the same time at the time that they want it. It's just impossible. But that is my lot in life, to quote 3PO. But we'll do our very best. So I think it focuses on us on making very edited stories and very choice decisions, and that is a storytelling skill. The less you say, the more every scene has to move the story along. So I think is choosing the right vehicle to help tell the right story to the right people at the right time. That's a very long-winded way to me to answer it, but it's true. I don't know whether that came across, but that's what it's teaching us, how to tell stories.
For sure. And I think too, one of the things that, has kind of resonated with me over the years is, getting into collecting as an adult, regardless of, whether it's Star Wars or another IP or another brand, right? Is these pieces also, at least for me personally, help me feel more connected to the stories that I love. So not only is it like the story that's being told with the toys and like through the toy line and like through the offering in a given year, but like it gives me the opportunity to relive that moment and then to be able to kind of capture it and revisit it in a more tactile way than I could by just putting the movie on. And I think that's one of the things that continues to draw me, especially to Star Wars, right? Like something that I love. Like I've shared moments that if I think about them too hard, they will start to make me cry with my children, with Star Wars. But like just in general, like these pieces, like I look at them and like, I have really cool stories about individual figures and the feeling of like getting some of these things in the mail and building playhouses out of the cardboard boxes for my kids and stuff like that. Like, all of those stories are there, but also like these are opportunities for somebody. If you were one of those prequel era kids and, the first time you saw this ship land in Geonosis, you were sitting in a theater with the back of your head glued to the chair and the popcorn in your lap. Like, I hope that when you see this, it can help take you back to that moment. Right.
Yeah.
It's and I'm really, I see it. My son, he's 22, so he clearly he was too young for the prequels, but like I live my life through sentiment and nostalgia and that sense of like wishing to be back as a child. I'm lucky I get paid to still be a child, so I'm really happy when the next generation hits it. Like Sam came to me, probably. He won't watch this. He'd be embarrassed. He came to me, I think it was just before summer. He'd just finished university and come back home. And he has a whole pile of Nerf blasters out the other side of that wall. And his Beyblades. He used to collect Beyblades. He came back and I saw it in his face, that first pang of nostalgia. He came back and he was like, oh, my Nerf blasters. Oh my! And I could see it. And I was like, there it is. Because you got to be a certain age. You got to get to a certain age to get the benefit of what that means. So, like, to have the prequels, to bring the prequels to this generation, just to trigger some kind of nostalgic kind of happiness and joy. You know, we live in a cynical world. Like, let's not be cynical. You can just have joy. Just enjoy it. Like, don't think about it too much. Just enjoy the stuff that we do. So I'm happy that this generation is hitting, and I guarantee in 15 years' time we will have the sequel generation.
Oh yeah,
it'll hit.
100%.
There is no doubt it'll hit. There are people that love Bethany, my daughter. She was mad on Rey. Absolutely mad. I got a picture of her. Here's a funny story. I got a picture of her. Halloween. I almost forgot what you call it over here. Halloween, before the movie came out, and she dressed up as Rey. She was besotted with Rey. She'd seen the trailers, and she knew I was doing the toys. You know, and she wanted to go with a lightsaber. And this is before the movie came out. And as we know, when the movie came, it wasn't. And I was like, yeah, well, let's not go out with the lightsaber, darling, just in case. Just in case someone sees that and goes, oh, it's a hint, it's a tease. So people love this stuff so much. And so prequels, want to give some prequel love. And I look forward to kind of giving sequel love and Heir to the Empire love and Disney Plus love and everything love, because there's so much love out there for Star Wars. So
yeah, it's funny because I was born in '81, so tail end of the original trilogy for me, like getting to play like the Jedi coin-op game and those figures.
That's hard.
Eric, yeah.
That Endor level's a nightmare.
Once I got into high school, that was like Eric's age for the prequels, and now my nieces, his daughters, are definitely sequel aged. So
yeah. I mean, my youngest, her middle name is Rey. So
well, there you go.
She
and
they
oldest
have
was Rey for Halloween.
Was Rey for Halloween 2 years in a row. Yeah, 2 years in a row.
That's great.
So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna head into some Q&A from our followers. So sure. I'm gonna try to do this real quick. Around the Stevie, a Q&A create. So Dave, before we hop into the Q&A, remind our followers, our listeners, our watchers. I tried. How can you submit questions for future Q&As?
So go to the internet, you will. I can't do the whole thing like that.
That's pretty good.
Wow, I thought you were gonna. Do
you want me to try?
No, please don't.
Do or do not. Like, make your mind up.
You're gonna blow your throat out.
Yeah, I have Oasis tonight. How can I do that?
Don't mess that up.
That's the first, right? Yeah. So so when we have a guest that's going to be on, you will go to the internet, as I attempted to say as Yoda, as I did say as Yoda, and you're going to see a story on AIC at AIC_podcast. It's going to say, hey, we have a guest coming on, and in this case, that guest is Stevie, and it'll have like this little box that you can tap on to send a question. And we'll get that question, and we'll look at it and go, "It's a great question." Hopefully, I'm predicting the future.
Or we'll look at it and go, "They can't answer when that character is coming," and we'll skip it. Anyway, when you do that, we get to look at them. We put them in this section, and it becomes the fan Q&A. Now, how do you know that your question got asked? Well, you have to listen to the podcast at your favorite podcast destination of choice, or on youtube.com/AIC_podcast. Nailed it.
And get more news and fun stuff at AIC_podcast on all your social medias.
Well done,
Dave. It's been a while. I haven't had to do that.
I love Dave. Dave, I don't get to hang out with you enough. It's always your brother that's always in the way. Like
I'm always hogging the Stevie.
It's just brilliant. Just brilliant.
So we have indeed vetted through the questions, and we've got three. We've got three for you today.
So three people tapped that little box, and you wrote down three.
more than 3 people. A lot
My
of the
mum doesn't
questions,
count. Mum, you don't count.
I
a
like
lot of the
that
questions
this
were
is
very
Instagram,
similar.
though,
When are you
because like
coming home?
there's no
When are you ringing me?
character limit.
Yeah, it's true. A lot of the questions were very similar. So, we did credit 3 people with these questions, but,
Mhm.
a lot of people asked very similar things. And of course, we did have the questions. And this is when I like to take the time to remind people we will not waste anyone's time by asking when is X character coming, especially when we have our friends from Hasbro on. I almost have Emily's version of this committed to memory.
It's a
We
shame
cannot
because this is
comment
the
on
one-
products that have not yet been announced.
It's a shame. It's the one time I actually got permission to just tell everybody anything they wanted. But there we go. Hey, if you're not going to ask the question, then I can't answer.
Hey,
answer.
you know what? We'll eat crow on that one. All right. So, Dave, would you like to handle the first question here?
Yes, because this is the most readable handle. At the Vintage Concepts asks, during the Ghost and Cantina campaigns, specific characters like Sabine, Chopper, Luke, Han, Chewie, and Old Ben were pipelined to give backers something specific to get
Pipeline.
excited about.
Yeah.
While understanding that some pipelines undercut the surprise of reveals, is it possible to reevaluate pipeline announcements to help build enthusiasm for the campaign?
Pipeline, my favorite word. Now, I've gone on record and saying, like, I don't like
That's the most
pipelines.
I've said pipeline in a long
I know.
time.
It's like we've got detail, pipeline. Yeah. So, okay. So, pipelines. So, my opinions of pipelines. I think they are useful when they are useful. I do think they sometimes spoil the reveals of figures because people know what's coming and they get a sense in their mind what it should be. And it kind of makes it, in my mind, a little bit anticlimactic when we eventually reveal the figures. And I really want to reveal the figures to honor the team that made them and spent a lot of time sculpting and like, so for example, that one I was talking about earlier that I couldn't talk about, like, I want to reveal that, like, boom, and people go, what? But I understand, and I think, you know, it's balancing that surprise and reassurance. I think one of the benefits, and this is only the second year of these stories that we're telling, you know, Returns Tatooine, you know, what we're doing for Battle of Geonosis is a similar size. So that helps, I hope helps kind of put people's expectations where it should be. But, you know, as you say, we're in the future. Are we in the future or in the past? I can't quite tell. So, like, who knows? Who knows what will happen by the time we've spoken and the time this goes out on air? So if it goes out on air, my answer maybe have different context to what it is now. But pipelines, I'm not going to do loads and loads of pipelines because I want to honor the artists and give you surprises, because there's been a number of surprises that I think people have been really pleased about, like Heir to the Empire set. Like, no one saw that coming. And it's just like, bam, whoa! So I'm not ever going to apologize for giving you lovely surprises. But I understand. I hear you. Let's talk about that later.
All right. Our next question comes from Wampa Baloma. That's a good one. That sounds like a drink you Wampa Baloma sounds like a drink you could get at Galaxy's Edge.
I'll have a large Wampa Baloma.
This was the one I was happy you were asking.
Okay, so you're asking the guy who is a marketer as a profession to ask the marketing question. Got it.
No, the name.
I do everything. I'm a busybody, stick my nose in everything.
What can be done? So Wampa Baloma asks, what can be done to raise visibility to hook new TVC collectors? Has there been any attempt to cross-promote the campaign through official Star Wars web channels or even somewhere like on Disney Plus?
So number one, it's really important to get new TVC people. I have this phrase at the moment, which I say ad nauseum at work: retain and recruit. It's quite a clinical thing, but it captures what I think we should be doing. We should be, looking after those people that have been collecting for decades and make sure that they feel heard and make sure they feel loved and give them as much as we can, knowing that I will never be able to give you everything you want all the time when you want it. Just impossible. Star Wars is just too big. But bring new people in. And that responsibility, in my mind, to bring new people in lies on both of us, both sides of this screen. It's like, I need to be able to kind of create new products that are going to entice new people. Our friends at Lucasfilm and Disney are creating new content. to kind of bring new people in, but it also needs the community to look for new people and protect new people and welcome new people in. I think checklists and stuff like that, the 101s that's how we came in this community. I came in this community from looking at backer packs and checklists, and I came looking at Steve Sansweet's book, which I've got over there, who I met at San Diego Comic Con for the first time. I've never met Steve Sansweet and I grabbed him and I was like, oh my God, Steve, your book from concept to screen to collectible like changed my life. And he was very gracious. He was like, oh, I know who you are. I'm glad to meet you. Blah blah. So welcoming in new people is really important. I think on this particular instance, the fact that we took it, obviously I think we did a good thing at launching it at a convention. So we're launching at San Diego. You obviously got Star Wars fans there. You've got Marvel. You've got Transformers. You've got Ghostbusters. You've got anime. You've got everything. And getting people to have visibility on that is important. We did the same at Fan Expo. We took it on tour there. And again, a lot of interest. A lot of people from Star Wars, but there were some other people like, oh, what's this? What's that? And I mentioned earlier, some people go, oh, I love that ship. They didn't know what TVC was. They just went, I love the Gunship. I love the prequels. So it's getting there. And, working with our friends at Lucasfilm, can we get out on their socials? Yeah, we can have discussions about that. Who knows? Who knows what will happen between now and when this comes out, or the last week as we move into that last week, because campaigns are all the same. Yep. Ramp up, plateau off, lots of discussion, lots of gray hairs coming, and then at the end it shoots up. So I'm hoping it's going to shoot up over to fund this ship. It'll be a pretty rare ship if it just about funds, but I want to bring these things to people. So to answer your question, yes, we're always trying to find new ways of bringing new people in and trying to take it to different places, in amongst all our day-to-day jobs as well. Like I've done a lot of traveling. Yeah. Me and Chris have done a lot of traveling on this, so I hope people appreciate that. And I just promise people that we love this thing that we do, and we do give it our all. We do.
Well, there you go.
All right.
And Dave, the last question here.
Another easy handle for me to read. Thank you. At Van Dyke 4627 asks, what goes into the decision as to whether to offer a HasLab at a higher price with a lower backer threshold versus a lower price with a higher backer threshold? And are there any considerations being made to add more clones to the project's base offering?
The Rumpelstiltskin question. It's like, is it this or this or this or this? Like, I'm not going to claim to know the exact formula of this and this. I understand how it works. You get charge more and need less backers. Less backers charge more. Is that right? Or have I just said the same thing? You know what I mean? Yep. It's balance. It's just working it out. I don't have the knowledge of how that exactly works, but I know it is something we often talk about and try. We roughly know how many TVC, sort of what I'll call elite collectors there are that will take up things like this. We know that it's, it's of a certain price. And so we try and work that out because we want to be able to kind of deliver the best price for the right amount of people. But ultimately it's about value. Value is what you get, not what you pay for. So it's an art, one of which I don't necessarily have the skills to do, but I know there's a lot of discussion, a lot of back and forth on that. In terms of the clones, at the moment there is no plans to add any more clones to this offering. The offering we've got is the offering that it is at the moment, and I hope people kind of enjoy that and want to get on it. If they don't, then they don't. That's okay. So no plans at the moment for adding any clones to the base offering.
Well, thank you everyone for submitting your questions. We know, Steve is actually for what I'm about to say is one of the bad examples because he does answer so many questions online and is so engaged with everybody constantly that we usually like to say, we know not everyone gets the chance to talk to you, but more people get the chance to talk to you than they do to most of the people that we have on the show. I think I said that right.
Yeah,
but
I understood you.
But regardless, thank you to everybody for submitting your questions. Hopefully you got the answers that you wanted to hear. But yeah, with that, let's just recap this project one last time and go through the full offering here. So right now, as of August 28th, we are at 3,800 backers with the minimum threshold of 8,000. So we're closing in on halfway there.
Halfway. Okay.
And that base offering is the Gunship and the 2 clones, correct?
Yes. One card.
And then we've got 3 tiers to unlock. So that adds 3 Jedi to your collection. Coleman, one of my favorite Jedi names. Good old Coleman.
Coleman Treebor. So there's a line break there. Coleman Treebor, or Robert Coleman. Coleman Treebor.
Yep.
Or Trebor, however you want to say it.
He will come to your collection at 10,000 backers. At 12,000, we've got Saiz Tin. One of my favorite, actually, like, I don't want to say B Squad Jedi. That's not fair. But like he'll come and take your leg off. Yeah. Seriously. One of my favorite members of the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
And then tier 3 at 14,000 backers, Ajan Kolar. So our unsung Zabrak Jedi hero.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember the last 2 from episode 3, and there it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So who knows? If you're into it, let's back it. Like, we've seen crazy things happen with HasLabs. That's what I love about HasLabs. It is a roller coaster ride. Yep. It's a roller coaster ride, I tell you.
Not to mention,
I had brown hair before I had dark brown hair before the barge. The barge is the same. The barge. What did that turn out? That was 8,900. I think we finished on that.
Yep.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And look at that now. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And we always talk about army building, but like Jedi Council building is kind of like.
Yeah.
It's less spoken of, but here you go. You get a chance to do that.
Get
3
Jedi army.
Jedi.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we got Battle of Geonosis coming in 26, where we will have more figures to complement said thing. You've all seen my rubbish sketch of the of the poster, so there you go.
Yep. So Steve, make the final pitch. There's to those folks that are sitting on the fence. This episode will air on September 1st, which will be in the final week.
It literally will be a week to go. Wow.
So
a pitch?
Make that pitch to somebody that's the fans that are sitting on the fence and they don't know which side.
Everyone waits to the end. Everyone loves to just wait to the end. They just like to make me sweat, which is fine. It's part of the game. It's all right. I love it.
Maybe more of a rallying cry.
I think. All right. Let me lay this out straight. I think. If you think you've got a TVC gunship already, you don't. And I think this is this might be your only chance to get the definitive LAAT/I Republic gunship. And I think your past iterations of this have been fantastic toys. This is not a toy. They were fun toys, but they did not have, this has the detail, the scale, the proportions, the design aesthetic that TVC fans love, know, and to be frank, deserve. So, like, we've got one more week when this comes out to back this definitive ultimate version of this beloved ship, of this beloved prequel era that everyone is kind of like rallying behind. And if you can safely afford it and safely store it and have it and not get into trouble with your other half, please come on board and back it for us, and it'll be that centerpiece of that 2026 Battle of Geonosis story. And then we'll just keep going and making new stories for you every year. So that's it. That's my pitch. If that's a pitch, I don't know if that's a pitch. Does that sound like a pitch? I don't know.
Nailed it. So you have until 11:59 p.m. Eastern time on September 8th, 2025 to back the gunship. And you can do that.
Don't wait too long. Remember,
don't do it.
Again, I think most people understand what HasLab is, but like, if you back it, it builds momentum, and credit cards don't get charged until after the campaign finishes if it's successful. So some people still ask me that same question, like, do I get charged now? And I'm like, no. If it's not successful, you don't get charged. If it is successful, you get charged at usually a day or two after it closes. So there's no reason to wait if you think you're gonna go for it. But again, some people wait, and that's fine. I respect that.
We have seen that momentum, that gravity, just all of a sudden just take flight, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, and all the tiers are unlocked.
Yeah.
So be the start of that momentum.
Wait, be the spark.
It is.
Be the spark. Go to HasbroPulse.com and be the spark to light the fuse.
To light Eric, the prequel fireworks.
There you go.
You don't need my word of advice this time. You got Eric did it. To close out. So there we go. Steve, thank you as always so much for joining us, for sharing your passion, for doing what you do for all of us collectors and for the community. Absolutely.
One last time, visit HasbroPulse.com to back the gunship. And Stevie, where can all of our friends, if they're not already following you on Instagram, where can they find you?
You can find me in my basement. The back door's open. You can just come in, let yourself in, and we'll have a
I'm leaving now.
So I hang out mostly on Instagram, Mr. Stevie 18. But I'm around everywhere. I'm around every corner, watching and listening and planning and plotting. But come over to Mr. Stevie 18. You know, I do a lot of just looking at retro stuff, all my old stuff. I haven't done customizing for a while. I need to get back into that. I'm looking over there on my little workbench. You know, I will kind of repeat reveals. I don't reveal on my thing. We reveal it through official channels, but I'll often kind of like reiterate, and I'll try and answer questions where I can. Most of the questions are sort of reiterating facts that have already gone out, or I try and guide people to the right places to get the answers they want. But I do spend a lot of my time just kind of absorbing what people are doing out there and congratulating people on great collections or great customs or great toy photography. You know, I think it's important to be friendly in this community, and I try my best, and I greatly appreciate those that are that are friendly back and do things for the community. There's a lot of you that do it, so I thank you guys for doing what you do. You do it in a very kind of proactive, very kind of embracing way. I think it's great, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
And when you do decide to get back to the workbench, if you want to do more spilt milk figures, just that would be great.
I got my spilt milk. I got one. I kept one. Yeah, someone else was talking about that earlier. I don't know who else that was, but yeah, maybe I will. Who knows?
I love those. I can't reach them right now, but I can see them.
Yeah,
they're right there.
Yeah, cool.
Right. Well, with that, it's time to get out of here. It's time to hit light speed on both this project and we got to get Dave home from Tatooine. So,
I got the hair for light speed.
Yeah. So with that, may the force be with you, and go get the gunship. Thank you, dear listener, for hanging out with us today. Subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen, and then tell your friends to do it. Thanks also to Joe Azari, the golden voice behind our intro. Our music is Game Boy Horror by the Zombie Dandies. Find more about them both in our show notes.
Follow us on social media at AIC_podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Stop by and say hi, show us your toy hauls, and share your toy stories. Maybe we'll talk about it in a future episode.
Don't try this at home. Void where prohibited and some assembly required. Each sold separately, not a flying toy. Consult a physician if your toy run exceeds more than 4 hours.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.